Seesaw today with the AEA had going on. I don't know if anybody else in here were able to attend that one. So not a whole lot of new things, but I was hoping to pull a few new things out there. But I'm excited to be able to share the computer science the computer science lessons with you today, because they didn't talk about those during that meeting. And so I was kind of excited that if you were going to go to both, you would hopefully get some different content. But my name is, like I said in the beginning, my name is Marissa Dahl. I'm the ITEC member. And so this is in collaboration with ITEC. And so I am a past early childhood educator. So Seesaw is definitely my passion, and so is computer science. So it's nice to be able to share a tool that I think is very appropriate for our littles as well. And then also to share in that computer science connection as well. So all Seesaw lessons are available to Iowa educators this January. So this is new as of January, is that you can actually access these now for free. So before your district had to sign up for it, but now you access to them. I'm going to show you though, there has been a little bit of the videos, maybe do it as a teacher-led activity. Or you can also assign students some of the activities as well. So today what our agenda is and what our outcomes are is to learn how to access the Seesaw library, how to find the different components and how to use them, how would we use them in different instructional routines, and then also I did touch on the supporting students and families. Seesaw lists were created by the Seesaw team. They had an animation team, they have a curriculum team. They met with us for probably at least a year and a half maybe to gather some feedback of what we think our students and teachers will need in their classroom. So that's the difference between Seesaw lessons and Seesaw library. Seesaw lessons and Seesaw activities. My library then is where you're going to be able to, if you heart any of the lessons, that's where you would find them. So part one is the Seesaw library. So the Seesaw library is the new collections and the expansion of the favorites you could use okay. So anyway, they're the collections. So there's a phonics collection, a math collection, a social emotional collection, a computer science collection. I think there's another one too, but those are the main ones that I know our teachers are finding them the most helpful and most applicable to our students. So to navigate and to find that, and if you are on your device and you want to open up another tab, or if you want to go on a separate device, I'm going to have you actually follow along, because I'm going to give you a minute to actually look through that Seesaw library. So here are the steps on how to get to that Seesaw library. So if you log into and you can even have a Seesaw free account to see these. So seesaw.me, and you're going to log in, and then I am a teacher, and then teacher sign in with Google. So this is what most of yours will look like. If you haven't signed in before, it will ask you for your grade level, and then it will ask you to create a class, and you can quickly do that. And you can even just call it demo or trash this is kind of how I call things. But what I want you to get to is this Seesaw library. So once you sign on and you get the Seesaw library, if you could give me a thumbs up so I know that we're all on the same page, literally. That would be great. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Leah. Okay, so what we're doing is we went to Seesaw library, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go to that plus sign, and oh, sorry, no, this isn't, you don't have to. This is if you wanted to assign it. We're not going to assign it. We're just going to I'm just going to show you how those are the two different ways to do it. Either go to the library or go to assign activity. Those are the two ways to find the Seesaw library. So next you're going to go to the Seesaw lessons, which should look like this. And these are when I say collections, those are the squares at the bottom. Those are the different collections that it has. Over right before winter break, they had a winter break collection as well. So you should be able to see that. So, and then over on the right hand or down below, my mouse is weird. Down below, you'll see the grade level. So you should be able to filter by grade level down here. So if you want to go ahead and choose a grade level that you teach. And then I want you to just go through and look at all of the collections. We're not going to click on any yet. Just look at the collections that are available to you for your grade level. And then next, I want you to find just the, we're going to focus on the computer science one. So if you could click on computer science ed. And then what you're going to see is when they say Seesaw lessons, when I look at it this way, I think of this as a unit. So the unit, this one's a math example, but that whole top bar is a unit. In my opinion, it's a unit. And I say that because it's actually, this digital citizenship with Bean is actually 9 lessons. So if I click on view, or actually I'm going to scroll down all of them. The computational thinking adventures, that's actually a new one. I have not seen that one. This is, I know, Corey, one of Corey's favorite. I will say it is a very good one. Visual one, STEAM, design thinking, careers in CS. So this is all of the ones listed for 3rd grade is what I clicked on. And then when I click on this to actually view the 9 lessons, you're going to see that this is these are the titles of each of the lessons, the standard, and then a description of what it is. So Bean is a digital leader, Bean goes on the internet, Bean cares for a device. So these are the different lessons in this collection. And then down below are the implementation resources. So what is a digital leader is a video. So that's probably like when we think about the hook for some of our students at the beginning of the lesson, that's what we would probably share, and we would put up on our whiteboard or on our projector and share that. The next one down is a view a resource guide. That is going to be your lesson plan, and that's going to have all the standards listed and all the resources that you, maybe things that you would talk about, vocabulary. And then the last one is what you could share with parents. I'm going to click on just this one, Bean goes on the internet. And so this is the lesson, when we think about this would be the lesson plan. So the introduction's 10 minutes and do a whole class experience. This is a movie or video. And then they're going to practice it. Again, this is a kind of a I do, you do, we do. They follow that. Then they're going to do some videos and reflecting on it and then show what you know. So the show what you know would be something that you would actually assign to them. And that's what you would assign to the students or to a student group if you have a student group. Below that, you're going to find the lesson plan descriptions, the standards, materials, all of the other, the information, like the teacher notes, I guess, what you would say. So I'm going to give you a minute to just look at your grade level, click into a Seesaw lesson, I was going to call it a unit, and just see what they have available for your grade level. If anyone does not have access or cannot access it through Seesaw, I did put some links in there if you wanted to go specifically to those. But it sounds like I don't have anybody in the chat saying they couldn't, so it sounds like we all had access. But that's the reason why I have the links here in case some of you weren't able to access those through your account. As you go through them, you should see that they are multidimensional. There's things that they can listen to, things for them to read, things for them to respond to, either by voice, video, or the text, the writing, or the drawing tool. I'm gonna give you about 1 more minute, and then I'm gonna have a share out of the lesson or the items that you found that might be helpful in your classroom. All right, we're gonna come back together. I wanted to, can you try to, if you should be able to go up to this little, like your profile, and go to the little, this is how to log, if you can't log in, go to this little wrench, and then go to sign out. You may be able, there may be also something here that says go to teacher account, but you should be able to go to sign out and then go to I am a teacher instead. Oh, or unless you're in the Seesaw parent app. So that's why when I went to seesaw.me and then I am a teacher, and then sign in with your teacher account, make sure you're, so yes, let me know if you're in the app, because there used to be 2 different apps. One that was for class and one that was for family. So hopefully that helps. I wanted to show you one of these. This is actually one of the latest ones that I worked on with Seesaw, and that was the mission code. And we did think it was important for them to actually get into some coding. So this is where the dog, a robo dog, introduces Scratch. And so I'm gonna preview this one and just show you just the quality of the videos that Seesaw has created.
Identity scan. Access granted. System startup. We have an important mission for you today, Agent. In order to complete this mission, you must learn the secret word. The secret word is program. Check out this secure video file to learn more about the secret word, program.
A program is a set of instructions or code that a computer follows to complete a task. On Seesaw, you created code to help many characters, like RoboDog, like when you programmed helping RoboDog get to the phone. A program is all of the code or instructions that complete a task from beginning to end, just like when you read a book. Code is the words in the book, and the program is the entire book. Like the words in a book, all of the code makes a complete program. The words need to be in a specific sequence or algorithm to make sense. Computer scientists use the word algorithm to talk about the step-by-step sequence of instructions. Scratch is a block-based programming software that will help you create programs. This means you can drag code blocks to create a program and click the green flag to see if your program works. Each code block is a command.
So I know when we talked to them, we were very diligent and we wanted them to make sure that they went over the vocabulary. So that's where there's a lot of vocabulary in every single video. In that introductory video, there's lots of vocabulary there. They do then go down to, this one, and they go to the actual Scratch, and actually there's instructions here too, I see, for English and Spanish. But then they do, so that they go and they do their code, and then there's also some collaborating around code, because they have to then help their partner, and I can't remember exactly what the lingo is there, or the routine is there, but they do have them communicate back and forth about their code. We didn't want it to just be one kid at their device. We were hoping for even like having them code together. But there is some reflecting and a little bit of that. There is some collaboration built in there too. So then once they complete that, they can add in either their screenshot or link to their code. In Seesaw, if you've never assigned them an activity, click on Assign. One of the updates Seesaw has also done is you can actually edit kids. So if I didn't want to send it to all my kids, and maybe I just wanted to send it to one of my students, I can assign it to.
This is not by any means a comprehensive list. Are there ways that any of you guys are using I'm going to say Flipgrid just because that's in my head, but Flip, are there ways that you guys have used it that maybe, some specific examples? Anybody?
I have used it a couple different ways. One way was in computer science principles, when the whole thing was going on about the one guy, I can't think of his name now, who puts the YouTube videos out of how to solve all the lessons. So I had
drag. But here's where it takes them actually to the mission, where they would complete that mission, copy that link, and they would put it into their Seesaw, or take a picture of it and put it in their Seesaw journal. So yeah, this is where I wanted to then give you a minute to just share a little bit about what lessons you saw and what components you saw that you think you might use in your classroom. Are these new to you? Has anyone used these before? I would love to hear from someone who has used them and to share their example as well.
I can go ahead and start.
Thank you.
So this is my first year teaching computer science, but I did a whole bunch of stuff this summer, went to the conference and everything. But what I liked about these, and you touch base on it, is that it goes with your curriculum. So I have used them in a couple of different ways, either as an assessment of we learned something, and then here's another activity to kind of reinforce it in a different way, whether it's the vocabulary or stuff like that. The Mr. Beans activities I use at the beginning of the year, especially, sorry, I got a dog now barking or growling, especially the one that has I think it was the device care. As you go in it, it has an actual device, not a contract, but he has the, let's see, I think it's under the cares for a device. Yep. And we actually used the template they had in there. And then there were a couple blanks that you could, no, not this.
That one.
It might have.
Not that one either.
Yeah. Well, it kind of was like that one. It was where it was expectations, and then somewhere it had a couple blanks where it could be what else, do you think an expectation is? And then we actually put that on Seesaw so parents could see it. And then I don't remember if we did that and a copy home, but even my little kids, we went over it, like my kindergartners, we went over it and just said, write your first name on here. This is, a contract so that, we are all aware of, how you should be using your device correctly, whether it's in computer science or in just your classroom. So that was a nice one too, to be able to kind of use that component. But yeah, the kids like it. My 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders like your Mission Impossible ones too. So I had a few days that I had unexpectedly this year, had quite a few more days I had to be gone. And so those were great when I could leave some computer science things, but I could also just be like, all right, here's 3 assignments. Let's see what you can get done. And then, I can see what they're doing from home and stuff. So.
Thank you so much for sharing those with me. Do you or with all of us, are other colleagues doing it as well, or just you?
So I am the only one that teaches computer science in my building. So
or do they use other Seesaw lessons?
Yeah, so we have been a Seesaw school for 5 or 6 years. So yeah, we have all of our teachers that use. And the one thing I was going to actually throw in there, when you went to that assign, when you assign a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, assign activity.
Yeah. So we actually we are co-teachers. And so like the art teacher, the gym teacher, myself, we are co-teachers. And so it's really nice too, where that when they added that, like, not only can I select kids, but then I can select a folder, and then like, I'm not going through all of the other classroom work. Like if it's, under my computer science tab, then I can go straight to that and I can say, oh, I don't have anything to check, or, here's the stuff I need to check for my students. And then it also, puts a portfolio together for the kids too. So all of that's really nice to be able to co-teach with it too.
And obviously your kids are pretty used to all the different tools in Seesaw too. How was it when your kids went to Scratch and then had to come back to Seesaw? How did that go?
So I haven't done any of those. So the only problem I see with that one that you showed us is that my K2 students use Scratch Junior. So it would be very different for them to use some of those where we're jumping to Scratch, because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, and that one I think was 3rd grade, I think. So
yeah. So
one.
Yeah. So that I think some of those would be nice too. That I can, especially I think with that 3rd grade level, is that we've done a little bit of the coding in code.org, but not so much in Scratch. So I could see that one being an example that I could use when we, make that transition there. So.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to share what they found or what they've experienced if they've already used these?
I use one, but I don't know if it's housed in there. It was Riley in the dance off, but I don't know if that's just an activity.
Well, we've seen that,
and I participated. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, I participated like in a focus group on it, and so I don't know if that's how I got it, but I haven't found it anywhere else. But I really liked it, and we used it as a whole class for kindergarten, just because there was a lot to click on to go through. So at the beginning of the year, it was just kind of nice to go through it together. But the thing I noticed today when I was looking, or tonight, was just that career connection for CS. And I really like that, and introducing that, at a young age. So
we'll have to check with the people that we are working with, because you're right, that one is missing, because we did work on that one.
I was just looking for it, Wendy. I can't find it either. So
I don't see it in my links either that I had. So yeah, we'll have to ask about that one.
Okay. I do have it in my library, but I had edited it for our use just a little bit. So
Can you share, actually, see if you can, do you know how to share the Seesaw? Like if you went to your library and then if you click on that and then you go to share lesson, can you share the link in the chat maybe and see if we can access it that way? Since we've talked about that one. I do really like that when Leah shared about, is it Lee or Leah? Sorry. I want to make sure I say it right.
It's Leah. And then I'm also I found that device agreement form, and I was going to show you the original and then show you kind of what we did. So continue.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. But I wanted to show, she was talking about how the parent component too, like, see, this is what when we do things. So I wanted to show, oh my gosh, where is it? They had at the bottom, it was just on there. Now my screen was big. Oops. Maybe there wasn't any for that. But at the bottom, this is what it looks like. Is they had almost a parent document that you could even share with families. So this is specific to the bean. So if you knew you were doing that lesson that day, this is something that you could share with your families. So these are already the one pagers that they've created for you already. And they're already translated into Spanish as well. So these can be found. I'm not gonna be able to find it now. But these, oh, where did it? My slides are there now. Those can be found underneath the Seesaw lessons. So at the bottom where I showed you parent or instructional routines, I think is what it said. And then it said parent. This is where, nope, not here. I think I had to click into one of these. Yeah. So under here it says family engagement resource. That's where like that resource would go with all of these lessons. So, oh, thank you for sharing that in the, so maybe that was in the Seesaw lessons. Or that
I think that's where, I think because I see that mine says family engagement resource, but somewhere in that lesson, I remember it had a couple, like in the actual student lesson, it was one of the slides that they went through. So maybe it was the instructional one, but it was like, this is what we should do. And then do you have any other examples of what we could add?
Okay.
No, I don't feel like it was this, but it was obviously in here
and
somewhere.
Actually it could be in the lesson plan as well. Oh, I really like this one because you moved it around to have to find. Do you remember that one now? Well, thank you.
It was one of these where they had to, because they had to like click through and there were different activities they had to do on a couple of the pages. But I feel like that doesn't look the same. Would they have changed them? Like,
I mean, they could have, kind of like they took away the other one.
It looks similar to that one you were kind of going through, but it's not the same, exactly the same one. So, but yeah, anyways, and I don't know if like, we should have, but like obviously I added some lines onto ours. We took the basic one, but then we took the ideas that the kids had of like, here's what else we should do to add to our flyer.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. I like that one because I think it engages the families in the conversation too. This is the one that who shared this one? Wendy shared. This is the one, I don't know where it's at right now, but you have the link to it. This is the one where they talked about I think it's looping, because they were helping them with a dance party, win a dance competition. So if you go to that one and you heart it or you use it, then you would be able to use it. This is where, they would have to like use their, either use the picture, use the shapes, or use the pen to actually write it in here. We didn't want, we actually like the idea of them creating it themselves and then having to like guess and check, like show your partner, does it work? so that they were collaborating about code, because nowhere in Seesaw it's not a drill and practice. Is it going to be like, that code's not right? But we wanted them to have an opportunity to collaborate. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, I am going to finish up with some of these things, some of these slides. I wanted to point out here that at the top where you see Seesaw lessons, over here it says search lesson by standard. You can do that to find a certain standard, but what I wanted to point out is it's not under Iowa. It's actually under the CSTA K-12 computer science. So if you go to Seesaw, no, my links are, and you go to library and you go to search by standard. If you go to Iowa, you will not find the computer science standards. You will only find the other ones. So under subject, you won't find them. I have kind of talked, or I would like to see if they could add it there, but I think it's just as helpful to have them right here. CSTA K-12 computer science standards. So when you click on that, then you can search by those that way. I showed you how to do it by clicking on the collection too, but I wanted you to see that, if you were going through that way to find it by standard, you weren't going to be able to find it under Iowa. So here's all the different standards. 1A, I think they only used 1A. I don't think they have, and 1B. So then we can see that there's 2 correlations to this one. So if I click on that, it's going to show me, it's going to link those 2 activities or collections, lessons, that I can go straight to that one.
So if
that's
you're
both ways now, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in a lot of the districts I'm working with, they're doing an audit tool where they're kind of saying, like, here's what the first grade teacher's covering in their classroom. Here's what the teacher librarian covers in the library lessons. And if they're lucky enough to have a computer science teacher, here's what they do. But I think this would be a really powerful way once you realize if there's a gap and you're already using Seesaw lessons to relieve some worry, perhaps, or anxiety about teaching this, because we feel like these lessons are pretty easy to use and grab. And in that lesson that Wendy shared, I don't think we could see it in the view, but Seesaw's done a nice job of, like, when there's that little light bulb, you can actually pull the correct answer up. So even as the teacher, if you're unsure about computer science, a lot of the times the lesson is in there, or the answer key is in the lesson. So as a teacher, you can work through it with the kids. So we hope this makes it a little more palatable and a little easier, especially for our teachers that are feeling anxiety. Yeah, there it is. It's because of the view, but it's pretty neat that you can do that and the kids can do that to check for understanding.
Thank you, Leah, for sharing that one. It's so weird that one has those extra boxes and then and mine doesn't. So I'm not really sure. They must be always updating them as they go. Because I really, especially because you pointed out liking that feature, and then it's not there. But I'm glad that you still have a copy of that.
So that's what I wonder too. So like somebody else that hasn't liked that, they won't be able to get my version of it then, if it's been changed on Seesaw?
Well, you could share that with us. Like, you could share your link with us and we would have it, but you're right. And I think Corey, do we want to maybe touch base with them about a couple of these things?
Yeah, we definitely will.
Okay, because I think that, especially because we have people using them, and if you go back and they're different, that's granted, you will have already made a copy, so I guess.
Right, but like, sometimes when I'm just, if I get that brief time to like scroll, sometimes like with music stuff, I will just like it. But sometimes the computer science stuff, I like just make note of it and I never like it, and so if it disappears, I guess. But
yeah, and that's probably one thing I should show you how to do. If you get to a lesson that you really like and you want to save it, favorite it, like it, we're using all those interchangeably. Go up here to save. And once you save it, it actually puts it in your library. So when you go over to my library, since I've saved these, that's why they show up in my library. So it's kind of like, I think it's like file, it must be like file, make a copy, because obviously they're not changed if you were to change it. I also, like, kind of off the record, I've kind of heard that if you favorite it or you like it, it will always be in there. So if Seesaw decides to take some, lessons down or not give us access to all of them, we believe it's our understanding that they'll always be in your library. So that's how you can search for them. So that is what I had to share with you today. I know that we never have time to just explore. So if we have some time left over, Corey, we can just explore the lessons. The rest of my slides were around the different tools of Seesaw. So if you've never used tools, or you never use Seesaw, if you never use the different tools, I did include some of those, that information in there as well. The handouts are really great for students. Obviously, Leah's class has probably used Seesaw lessons a lot, but if your kids are brand new to Seesaw lessons, it might be helpful to download that Seesaw lesson handout for them to be able to kind of follow through. It's a little different than just adding an artifact, because they actually have to go to add response. And then I skipped the rest of the slides, but you will have the rest of the slides if you want to see how you can get parents involved.
And just to add in there, for teachers that are not familiar with Seesaw or don't use it, get on a Seesaw mailing list or whatever. They are always doing lives and videos, and as long as you've registered for it, you can get like a video recording of it. Sometimes it's as easy as walkthroughs of different things, and so yeah.
Yes, I will agree. The webinars are fabulous. Typically, they're really good. They also have a catalog of them, but they also have a calendar of them. So these are all ones that they've pre-recorded. It comes with the slides. They also have a really great YouTube channel that I've learned a lot through that as well. But thank you. Yes, thank you for sharing that, because sometimes I feel like I'm, it's always like, why are you, that's all you do is sit around and watch Seesaw webinars?
And it's also their 8th birthday, and they're giving away prizes.
Oh, I did not know that.
So don't take all my prizes.
That's fun. So again, thank you guys so much for choosing to come to learn more about Seesaw, something I'm very passionate about. I know when I share this with teachers, they end up really enjoying the social emotional. So if that's something that you really would like in your classroom, the social emotional activities are phenomenal. There's all sorts of different collections, but I would say those two, the math games, I know that they've kind of ramped up those as well. So those are the two collections that I definitely wanted you to hopefully take away learning about the computer science ones, but also if you like them, take a look at the social emotional ones too. Donna, I believe so. If you go to seesaw.me and then Elizabeth, yes, they are free. They're available to all Iowa educators. So if you just click on this collection right here, this will take you to all the computer science. If you click on all, like I filtered before when I showed you, I was filtering by grade, but if you click all, and then you can search right here.
And Elizabeth, your district needs to pay for Seesaw for Schools, which there is consortium pricing through your AEA, through the state. But as long as your school's paying for Seesaw for Schools, all of the Seesaw lessons are now included in that.
Well, so Corey, I think we tried that out though, and I think everyone has access because you are not an ambassador and you were able to access them. So I think we fact checked that one and we realized that you actually do have access to them.
Oh, that is new learning for me. I was late getting in.
These are also links that you should be able, like if you click on that, this is actually going to take you to the Seesaw lesson where then you can also heart it. and put it in your,
Yeah.
these are older ones too, but I don't know if those are still, but yeah, you can heart it and put them in your library, but you should have access to them. So yes.